Hello, welcome to another episode of Drinking with Comics. My name is Sean.
And I'm Mike.
I almost forgot which. My intro to the Horror Vision is pretty much the same. I almost forgot what podcast I was doing, or you, whatever, YouTube podcast, whatever. No, this is Drinking with Comics, where we drink and read comics or talk about comics because
Yeah,
we've already read the comics. So, but we haven't already
yes,
read we haven't already drank the beer, so we're gonna drink the beer now. And today,
yes. And what do we got?
this is something I don't even remember where I found this now. This is Southern Grist Brewing Company's Bean There, Brown That. So I love brown ales, and I had to grab this. This is very indie. Like the canning, you can tell this is like very indie. So that's cool.
Oh yeah, it's like a sticker slapped on a silver can. I do enjoy that.
Exactly. This is from Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay.
Brown ale. Oh, look at this. I didn't even realize this. Brown ale brewed with lactose and vanilla. Touching back on our double mango marbles from last week with the lactose.
So I actually went to a grocery store looking for more and couldn't find any. And I guess you went to a grocery store when you were up here and couldn't find any.
Yeah, I had a last minute trip to Chicago this weekend for a couple days for a funeral, and I stopped in Binny's and I asked about it because I found more their more brewing beer, and then I bought some other stuff, and then when I got to the register, I asked about it, and she looked it up. She's like, "No, we had like a shipment around September, October, but we haven't had anything else." So I don't know.
Hmm.
I think you had mentioned it might be seasonal, but also it might still be available at the brewery. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to keep an eye out. It was very good. But now I'm excited about this. Ooh, brownish.
Smells good.
The little ice cream guy on there got me all excited. So yeah,
So
I guess that makes
that's
sense why it's a lactose.
the other thing about this that really made me want to get it. Longtime viewers will know that back in LA, we had for a while sponsorship with King Harbor Brewing, and I love
Mm.
their beer, but they had a beer called the Swirly that was modeled after those chocolate vanilla swirly cones.
Ooh,
And never forget the first time I had it because somebody told me about it. I'm like, that sounds gross. It was fucking amazing. Man, it was amazing. Such a good beer.
ready?
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
It's fucking good.
You
It's
get a little
good.
coffee off that, but in a good way. Oh,
I'm not
that
going to
is good.
start like pouring milk in my beer all the time, but for someone that didn't even know they were doing this until last week when we did the Double Mango Marbles episode, I'm pretty
Hmm.
impressed so far. It's a nice one-off.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Well, can't be because we don't have any more. But should
Right.
lactose month.
Uh, uh, we're going to talk about first. We're going to talk about this, and this might end up being this was like a really great issue of a comic book,
Oh yes, I
like a
think
really
like
great one.
this. If this came out 2 weeks ago, this is one of my top one, number one thing of 2005. This is
Really?
going to be if it came out 2 weeks ago because it was so freaking good. Um, but it was on my list technically because it was Matt Fraction Batman that
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
talking about here,
But
and
this
it was
specific
this
issue
is
has been this is the high
this
point
is
so far.
oh yes, this is just goes to show how great this book is.
Yeah. And this is
Um,
Batman number 5.
mhm.
I was reading about this before we started recording. So originally this was solicited and the cover said Lady Deathman strikes. And
Yes,
they didn't acknowledge it. There was no statement about it, but they changed it to the Ojo strikes, which means young woman, I guess, in Japanese.
Hmm.
Nobody knows why they did that. I don't care either way. Deathman was a character that Grant Morrison had in one of his bat somewhere in his 7 year bat run.
Yeah, and he
So
originally appeared in the Japanese manga
got it.
years ago in the 60s and 70s, so there might be an issue there too. But yeah,
That could be.
I'm okay with that. Like, it
Yeah,
would
it
have been
doesn't
fun to
matter.
hear Lady Deathman, but it works either way. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like they never even say her name. Um, I have this feeling. Okay, so if you're just joining us for the first time as we talk about Batman, Matt Fraction's Batman, and Jorge Jimenez, uh, Mike has this. You had this idea with the Minotaur issue
Oh,
that the Minotaur's extra fingers. I don't know if we talked about this on here because you actually messaged me about this after we recorded our episode about the Minotaur, but
yeah.
you had this brilliant theory that the extra finger is because he's AI, he's not real, right? And
Hmm.
I know you're right. There's no way you're not.
Yeah, because he
I
does an
got,
algorithm of crime and all that.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I get the sense that maybe this character is also AI. Like I'm wondering if there's something going on, like maybe Batman's wearing this helmet, the crown of what the fuck was it called? The crown of whatever the Annika Zeller's um
Crown
you know
of
contraption.
crime. Yeah. I don't think so. I think it's legit, but I do like that character. Yeah, I agree. I like Zeller a lot. She's a interesting, fun, kind of klutzy character almost.
Yes,
Um, Enjoyed her throughout the whole thing.
yes,
Um, get to the end when we'll go. I'm going to get to the end on this because I do want to talk about that a little bit later, but that's don't throw up a spoiler if you haven't read it
yeah.
because I
Huge
messaged you,
spoiler.
don't look through it
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
was great.
Mike messaged me the day this came out and said, "Are you picking up? If you're picking up five, do not look through it. Read it straight through.
Yeah,
Do not flip ahead." And I'm glad you messaged me, just in case, you know.
because I tend to like, when I put the books out, I tend to like thumb through them a little bit, like, oh, this looks kind of interesting, and when I thumb through it, I start from the back and work my way up
Oh,
because
so
that's
did it
kind of
get
I
ruined
am.
for you?
It did get a little ruined for me, but that's how I kind of am. I'm just like, okay, is there anything big in this that I need to know about without reading
Okay.
it first? So, like, oh, hey, check this out. Batman dies. Ooh, we need to
Right,
order
right.
more or something like that. It's just, it's just a common practice that I get into with comics sometimes, and something I'm interested in is like, um, oh, is something happening in this or not? Is this going to
Right,
be a
right.
big deal tomorrow or not? And it isn't, but it should be. It not necessarily should be, but it was fun. I was like, wait, what? And that was fun. But we'll get back to that later.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.
Um, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. I liked that it's all Bruce Wayne issue. No
Yeah,
Batman.
yeah.
Fabulous. He's doing Bruce Wayne. I don't know if you caught on that he just talks business throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Never breaks character as Batman until the very end, where he kind of like, or where the lady Death, whatever her name is like, you're just pretending. He's like, oh,
Well,
I'll
she
show
says,
you.
"I
And
wonder what are you when you're not pretending to be this," which I thought was really
exactly,
that was
yeah.
very nice.
Oh, and I love every time she shows up, you just hear the sound blue and says, "Hi."
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like okay, so the back and forth between Annika Zeller and Bruce Wayne, where it's like it's you didn't think this was a date, did you? You thought this was a date. You didn't think, well, you're wearing skirt and heels. You thought this was, that while this crisis is happening, right? He picks her up and then they're being followed by this 000 gang, which was invented. So I Googled this. It said like the legendary 000 gang. And I was like, okay, but this is, I believe, from what I could ascertain online, this is their first appearance. So I don't know,
Yeah,
legendary
makes
or
sense.
not, but
Well,
um,
000010001, like code.
oh, like again. So
Yeah.
I'm really wondering if this is like some kind of a weird simulation that he's in.
I
Oh
don't
man.
think it's a simulation as much as he's fighting like personified AI.
That's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, because just like the Ojo is like fights and then breaks into birds, right? And flies and then
Well,
recongeals.
and I love that like you see the birds on starting on page 2. Like if you
Yeah,
look throughout, there's birds throughout the whole thing. So she's been following them around throughout the whole
yeah.
thing in this wonderfully um car chase that or
Oh,
this book is just 90% car chase,
and it is
which
GTO. What
worked.
is this? Is this a Mustang?
Kind of like a Camaro GTO Mustang thing. I don't really think it gives it like I don't think it's a proper car, but
I don't
it's a
know, but it's not
70s
something.
car.
Yeah, it's not something I'm used to seeing. I mean, Bruce Wayne, like you don't necessarily
Yeah.
think of him driving this. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, my
Well,
Bruce
I mean,
Wayne
he
experience
drives
is limited.
Batmobiles and stuff like that, but you don't, it's obviously, he's a man who loves his cars.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, I like the thing where she's like, "Do you always drive like this?" He's like, "I've won awards, driving awards." She's like, "You won awards for driving?" Like it's
yeah,
their conversation, like the whole. This really reminds me of when Fraction wrote Daredevil. It's and not. I'm sorry, not Daredevil. Hawkeye.
same energy. Yeah.
It's the same energy, and it's not like a one for one comparison per se because it's a whole different set of characters with a whole different skill set, and it's just very different. But I don't know. There's just this snappy repartee. Like he's really, really. This reminds me, like, oh yeah, this guy's really good at writing this kind of thing.
Yeah, and I like the right thing. Like I read it twice. I read it earlier today just
Same,
so I could refresh myself.
same.
But like I like that he it's Bruce Wayne being Bruce Wayne. At no point till the end does he break that Batman character. And
Yeah,
he doesn't feel like, that award thing is something that Bruce Wayne would say because Bruce Wayne is rich. When she's like, kept going, like, are you on? I don't think he's on a date. I think he's just, doing reconnaissance and stuff. He's being Batman. He doesn't have time to date this girl. But she keeps on bringing up that it's a date because, he looks all flashy and stuff like
right.
that. But when Batman's being Bruce Wayne, that's how Bruce Wayne is. That
Yeah,
character is just that. So
yeah,
he's portraying the character to a T, which and it felt like that. It feel at any point in time did it not feel like Batman. It felt like Bruce Wayne. Looking dashing and all that stuff, and her being like, "I thought we're just having dinner. Like it's not a date." But he's
right.
looking shirt unbuttoned because that's the type of shirts he wears when he's being casual. This is the
Yeah,
car
right,
he's
right.
driving when he's being
Oh,
casual.
the scene where he's like this near the end, he's so
Hmm.
suave looking, it's unbelievable. Like it's
Yeah,
just yeah, he's definitely doing surveillance and I like that he keeps telling her they're here to kill you and I'm thinking, are they? Or is
yeah.
he
No, I
just
think they are.
oh, because I wasn't sure if it's like, well, okay, they're here to kill Batman, but I've got to somehow not
I'm
say that,
pretty
right? So, oh, they're here to kill
sure.
you.
No, I think they were there to get because she's the one who created the
Yeah,
crown.
yeah,
Maybe the 00 gang are working for the Minotaur who wants to her dead because
probably,
she's the only one that could probably stop him or something like that. Or as he
probably.
put it, she's revolutioning business and he wants to be on top of that, which, makes sense.
Well, he says your work, violent and powerful people feel threatened by the idea that their idea of identity can be changed if they
Yeah,
choose.
yeah.
Um, then we get to the end.
Oh,
So if you didn't believe us before, if you've not read it, stop. Don't go any further. Spoiler. Um,
uh,
dude, when I first read this, in my mind, Mike was, I'm like, Mike said, don't look ahead, so something big's gonna happen, right?
yeah,
And I didn't. Was like I didn't even catch it. The same thing happened to me. That first of all, I love seeing Damien in the fucking Robin costume. I didn't know he still
yeah,
wore the Robin costume, so I was like, there was that element. But he basically Damien shows up dressed as Robin and puts down the Ojo or whatever with the bat
yeah,
snare thing. He's like, rapid onset decoherence is most effective to neutralize, assuming one must adhere to a no killing policy, father. And then the last page, it's just Bruce looking all salty at Damien. Damien, like, huh? And then Zeller, father? Cat's
yeah.
out of the bag, man. Bat's out of the bag.
One must wonder how that's going to play out. I'm excited to hear that. But like, just the arrogance of Tim, or not Tim, Damien sliding in there for the rescue, like, oh look, Dad, I fucking saved you. And
Yep.
then he just sits there and goes, Father, and you can hear the condescending like tone that he has
Yep.
so perfectly. Like, but dad, dad, I did what I did because I'm smarter than you. And then he's just like, you just told her that,
Yep.
she turns around and
Yep.
he's just like, oh shit.
Yep. But when I read it at first, I did the same thing. I just casually didn't even catch that father was not the right thing to say in that moment, right? It's like,
Because he says it all
oh,
the time. Like every time he calls him father no matter what,
right,
and usually it doesn't matter because he's dressed as Batman. So who the hell cares? They'll figure it out, Or he calls Pennyworth, or he calls Alfred Pennyworth. He never calls him Alfred because
right.
he's a condescending little dick.
Yeah.
And the fact that like it, you know, the brilliance of this is the fact that like he's been doing this for years, and now it actually bit him in the ass, and I
Yep.
love it.
I love it. Yeah, and I mean, just to go on record, uh, I don't, I'm sure I've said it on this show at some point, but I got to reiterate, I still think when he died in the Grant Morrison run, the fact that they just turned around and brought him back pissed me off. I mean, I didn't read it after Morrison stopped, so it was only a theoretical anger,
Yeah.
but I just felt like his death was so fucking meaningful in that series. I mean, it was just unreal. And then I was like, oh, so it didn't mean anything like a month later, right?
But
But
we get
I'm
this now, and I'm
we're
okay
years
with it.
past this, and so
Yeah.
that's fine, right? If I had my druthers, we'd go back in time and change that. But as long as he's here, and this, I don't generally read anything with him. This was great. I
No,
loved seeing him. And so is he always Robin? Are there two Robins now?
technically, yeah. I think there's
Yeah.
technically two. Yeah, I think Tim Drake was the one. He's always been Robin. Tim Drake has been kind of changing it around, but I think DC's more gotten to. There could be more than one Robin. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
mean,
Like it's
yeah,
like Spider-Man. Like
that's
Marvel proved
exactly what
that
I was
you can
about to
have.
say.
Yeah, Marvel proved you can have two Spider-Men called Spider-Man, and no one's gonna bat an eye. So they got two Robins. I think Tim Drake works better as a Robin, and you know, obviously, I don't want to get rid of Damian because he's great. He's a little
Yeah.
fucking
I
cock,
mean,
and I love it.
I've always loved his character.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to like him,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's why
I
you like
don't.
him though, because he's a
Yeah,
cock, right?
yeah.
It's just like I studied her during my time with the League of Assassins. Like,
Like the sheer cockiness in that whole just one he had one word balloon in this whole thing and it just dripped fucking dickhead. Little
uh,
runt piece of shit and it was great.
just the look, just the way that that last page is drawn. All three of the people on it. It's like it's so perfect. It's so funny. Oh man,
Yeah,
so good,
that is one of the best panels I've
so
seen.
good.
Oh,
And, and I just got to say, like this, when I saw this cover, I was like it did nothing for me. So this is just a reminder for me, like don't judge it by the cover. I mean, it's not a bad cover, but it just didn't like I don't know for whatever reason it didn't
I think
it
it
wouldn't
kind
have
of hits
sold the
on
book
the
to me.
whole they're running in traffic from,
Yeah, no, I get it, but
there's no Batman on the cover. You got the girl in the shadows. It hits on everything, I think. But
yeah,
it does what it's supposed to do for that book.
yeah,
But obviously the highlight of the book is when Robin shows up. Even though like the entire book is just
yeah,
a well paced car chase,
yes,
and that's not something easily done in comics. Like
no,
it
I
felt
agreed.
the way. Hats off to the artist whose name I probably cannot pronounce, so I'm not going to try.
Jorge Jimenez or George
There you
Jimenez.
go. I couldn't even fucking do that. But the whole scene where like he sees him on both sides and kind of like stops the car and they slap into
Yes,
each
yeah.
other
Oh,
in
there's tons of
midair
that.
and then
Yeah, it's
hits the
good.
people in back and they fly forward. There's never a point when you're reading the action in this. It feels like you get like you know where your eyes need to go in the panels. You know,
Yeah,
sometimes someone draws something, and you're missing something because they didn't want to draw the car stopping or they didn't want to draw the foot hitting the pedal.
right.
Um, yeah, there's no point in this story where you don't know what's happening because it's visually it's telling a story visually just as
Yep.
much as telling a story, um, not audibly, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, I know. I know
pictures
exactly what you
telling
mean.
story. Yeah, words tell story just as much as pictures do in this. And there's a lot of books, a lot of comic books that I've read and books I've liked too, didn't really tell you the action
Yeah, oh
of a
yeah, yeah. Well, there's that
conversation
story
or
compression,
yeah,
right? Like sometimes,
yeah.
well, okay, uh maybe switch gears for a second. We were going to cover this in a separate episode, but I don't have a ton to say about it. Not because I didn't like it, but I just, we wanted to just touch in on Arcadia. Are you done with five? Are you good? I didn't cut you off before you brought anything else to the table.
I think the only thing wanted to bring up was the fact that the armor had moisture wickering.
Oh yeah, I see. Yes, yes. I did like that. I
That
did
one
like
cracked me
that.
up. It's like armor, blah blah blah, phasing, strength, blah blah, moisture
Moisture
wickering.
wicking.
Like
Yeah.
really, just like my underwear. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yes. Exactly. So this is the second issue of the Batman Green Arrow: The Question Arcadia by Gabriel Hardman. Um,
Hmm.
it's a good second issue. There is some story compression going on though, because there's a couple things like the first time I read it where I was like, "Wait, huh?" But overall, it's fine. I know you had
Yeah,
some points to bring up about this, so go ahead.
I didn't really like Batman as much in this one because he seemed very sold out. Like I'm working with the bad guys in this, and it just didn't seem like Batman to me.
I think he's playing a
But
part, but I know what you
I
mean.
think he's playing a part. But the way like there's the bad guy, the leader of the organization that has all this basically slave labor, right?
Right.
Um, and he's stringing Bruce along or Batman along, and it's kind of like I just can't see Batman like playing
Falling
it
for
dumb
this.
like that. Yeah. Um, like he's giving him orders and Batman's just like kind of sort of taking them. And even though I know he's, not, it's a position of Batman I've never seen
Well,
before.
there's no pushback.
That's
So
kind of
he's
weird.
taking it
Yeah.
on the chin, but I think the last page is where you understand that okay, he's been infiltrating, right? And so he was kind of just like
Yeah.
taking on the chin, whatever. But the funny thing is, it doesn't exactly play that way. That's my interpretation, but he doesn't really like break from Rotha is the guy's name who runs this corporation that's basically building these nautical cities that he says, oh, when nation states and all that like fall because of climate change, this is the answer or whatever. But
Yeah.
at the end, he makes a comment early on. He's like, I know where your funding comes from, and I can buy Bruce Wayne's corporation in a second. And then
Yeah.
later, he just basically straight up says, he looks at Batman, he says, we're all on the same team, Bruce. And
Yeah.
then after that is when Batman shows up and he's like, "We're stopping this," and he hands Green Arrow his bow. Right, so it reads a little differently. I don't think it reads the right way, but it reads like "fuck you." You know who I am. I'm going to take your shit down. But I think he was planning it all along.
I don't know if he was necessarily playing with it as much as he liked the idea of like these crime-free cities that he can be in charge of.
Well,
Like
and
it's
as
an end to his goal, but at the same time, like, yeah, but like I feel like anyone that would like if Green Arrow like came up to you, a worker, a coworker, is like, hey, they're doing slave labor in the basement, and Bruce Wayne turns around, is like, I need to look at the basement, and they're basically like, no, you can't look at the basement.
right, right.
Like that would have been the cutting off point of Batman right there, not all right, I'll just keep trying to look in the basement. But overall, I did like the book. It's not like it's a deal breaker for me. I've read worse Batman stories
Yeah,
that
it's
didn't
still
feel like
doing what
Batman
it
at all. It's
did.
just,
It's
yeah,
it's doing it well.
The
Uh,
thing
the-
I can never wrap my head around is okay, so you are a rich man, right? Okay, I get that part. You make millions of dollars. You want to cut corners and save money and build this city, right? So you have slave labor because you don't want to pay for labor. But you're still paying for soldiers. So
yeah,
you kidnap people to do these basic jobs that you could easily find someone to do it, and you're paying these soldiers aren't making minimum wage. They got to be making decent money, right?
true,
And
very true.
you look at them. There's like 1,000 soldiers in this thing. Why pay for soldiers when you could just pay for good help?
Yeah, it's a very good
I
point.
never, I never understood that. It's like I've seen this type of trope in comics before, and I get it. And
Yeah,
there's probably, and it's real. I'm sure it happens out there in the world, but it's like, okay, so you saved like what, $500 by having slave labor and a full army when you could just said, "Hey, I want labor," and you know, not have an army.
right. Yeah, no, it's a good point. I never thought of it like that
Yeah,
before, but
you
yeah, it's
could have hired
100% accurate.
skill. You could have hired skilled laborers to make the things that you're teaching people you kidnapped off the street to do. That
Yeah,
were working, that were looking for work that was cheap work.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
fucking
I never
billionaires.
understood that. Is like, yeah, you didn't want to pay for health insurance? I mean, you could have done it under the books.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
my gripe about that trope, I guess you
you
could
did
say.
bring up an interesting point though. Whether like Bruce was or Batman's interested because maybe he's interested because as like a billionaire tech guy, he sees some value in what Rotha is doing.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely something to be said about creating floating cities that are crime free and environmentally free and free of um that aren't part of any country, I guess you can say. They don't
There's a
belong to,
real
yeah.
this is like a real thing. And a year or two ago, I read an article. I don't remember where. If I can find it, I'll put something here. But it was a year or two ago, at least.
Oh,
And
is this about the tech bros trying to build
no,
their
no,
own
there was
society?
somebody that was building a like a self-contained. I don't remember it was on the ocean, but
Uh-huh.
it's like basically what they're doing. Like this exists. Like you can move there for so
Mm.
much money, and like it's a autonomous nation state community, whatever. I'll have to try to find it because it's been a while. So I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't remember. But I just remember being like, "Whoa, this is like real." Okay, I mean, it was somewhere.
There's
I forget where the fuck it
there's
was. Not near the United States, that's for sure.
I know there's something where like these tech bros are trying to do that. So they could go off and be, super duper douche tech bros in their own little country. Yeah, like so they don't have to deal with, damn lesbians turning them down or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck their problem is. But I mean that can only get you so far. I mean,
yeah.
it's all about blood in their faces.
Well, that's Arcadia 2 and Batman 5. Both excellent. Well, Batman 5
Yes,
excellent. Arcadia 2 good.
Batman
Like I'm
5, Arcadia,
I'm
very good.
yes.
I maybe not the best of the three that we read, but I think it's still solid, and
Yeah,
I'm sticking
agreed.
with it, and I like to see how it ends. It
Agreed.
doesn't turn me off. Yeah.
So we'll be back in a second and we'll talk about our third and final comic, which is also
Yes.
Batman. So
Yes.
stay
Welcome to
tuned for
Batman
Batman with
Week.
comics or drinking with Batman, whatever.
Drinking with. Oh, I like that.